Hey everyone, James Baek here. Welcome back to another episode of VGC 17 Baek Battles. Today we are still using Wolfe Glick's 2017 Melbourne International team with Porygon2, Arcanine, Nihilego, Tapu, Bulu, Muk, and Hariyama. Let's get started. So I wanted to talk about something because today is the 10th anniversary of when Pokemon Diamond and Pearl was released in the USA. And that actually happens to be the 10 years from today. Well, 10 years ago today, I got my first Pokemon game, and that's kind of crazy to think I picked up my very own 3DS Lite. No, DS Lite. It wasn't 3DS Lite. What is that? DS Lite. So I got my first DS Lite, my first gaming console ever, and then I got my first games, which were Mario Kart, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the Explorers, no, it wasn't Time, it was Red Rescue Team, no, it was Blue Rescue Team, I think, and then I got Pokemon Pearl with it, and yeah, so I did play Pokemon before I owned Pearl, but it was the first Pokemon game that I ever actually owned and played through the story. Like, I would battle my friends using their Game Boys and their games. That was a great time, but it's just a special memory just to own a game and the console itself. Like, this is the day that actually shaped up for me to begin my Pokemon journey, so I thought that was pretty cool. Mexico rated, a player from Mexico with a 1554 rating will be our first opponent of the day. Okay, this is a very interesting team. We got a Golisopod, Gigalith, Alakazam, Togedemaru, Stoutland, and Aerodactyl. So, very, very interesting on my opponent's part. So, my opponent doesn't exactly have great ways to stop and intimidate. So, I want to go Porygon2 Arcanine. It seems very safe against my opponent. I also like Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu does a lot of work. And I think Hariyama in the back. Nihilego doesn't really do much other than against the Aerodactyl, and my opponent can easily have Earthquake or Psyshock on the team, with Gigalith having Earthquake, Aerodactyl could have Earthquake, or maybe even Iron Head on these lower rated teams. So we have no idea what's going on. And also Psyshock from the Alakazam, definitely a possible move. So let's see how this is going to go. But yeah, I can't believe it. I gotta go back and play Pokemon Pearl. I loved 4th Gen. If anyone doesn't know already, I love 4th Gen. Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, my favorite gen ever. It's just my favorite gen ever. No questions asked. So my opponent's gonna lead with the Togedemaru Gigalith, which I don't really mind too much. My opponent is going to have both the physical attackers drop their attack by one stage. Porygon2 gonna get the download boost, special attack. That's pretty nice. Sandstream's going to activate, so Sandstorm's going to activate on the field. Don't really have much like my opponent could do. I guess maybe a fake out into my Pokemon and a... Yeah, it's probably going to be a fake out and maybe a Rock Slide. So I'm going to try to get Hariyama in, because Hariyama's in a very good position against my opponent's team. So we're going to get Hariyama in. Spiky Shield's actually going to activate for Togedemaru, no fake out, which is very interesting indeed. Let's see what the Hariyama goes for. I mean, the Gigalith goes for. We're going to get a Toxic off, which puts its Gigalith on a timer, which is very helpful. I do want to get rid of this Togedemaru because Togedemaru is kind of annoying to my team because of the fact that it can carry Encore. So that Rock Slide does pitiful damage, like very pitiful damage. As the Sandstorm, going to chip away at my Pokemon, and we're going to get burned by our Flame Orb, which is going to increase our attack power with our Guts ability. So my opponent doesn't have a switch into close combat. My opponent really doesn't have a switch into close combat. Alakazam is not a switch-in. So I kind of want to switch Porygon2 out into Tapu Bulu because I do want Terrain up. Also the fact that I would like to not get Encored into Toxic, because I feel like it could be more helpful later on. I could close combat the Gigalith because Gigalith's probably giving me the most trouble switching in, which I am kind of leaning towards, but we could see Gigalith protecting, and Togedemaru may be going out to Alakazam if it's Focus Sash. I do just want to close combat Gigalith though, because Togedemaru really doesn't do much to my team, but I guess Togedemaru can get a bunch of flinches, so that could be annoying, so I'm actually going to go for Togedemaru. Gigalith can't do much on -1 attack, plus the fact that it can't really hit my Tapu Bulu or my Hariyama for much damage with Rock Slide. I guess Togedemaru can't really damage my team either, but it can get flinches, which could be annoying. So Zing Zap is going to come out. 30% chance to flinch my Hariyama. So I'm hoping Hariyama is able to get attack off. It is nice to close combat into the Togedemaru. Will be able to pick up the knockout, so Togedemaru goes down. If a critical hit does not matter. And I just realized, I think this video might be a bit lower quality actually than normal. The reason for that is because I was streaming and I think I forgot to change my settings. So I do apologize for that. Rock Slide gonna come out. Oh, jeez, that did a lot of damage. Is that a crit? Yeah, that's a critical hit on Hariyama. Very unfortunate. As Hariyama probably doesn't even have one last attack off. But it could get a Feint off, I guess. I could go for like Feint Horn Leech. But Hariyama does have its usefulness because of fake out pressure. Yes, I am healing the Gigalith, but it's always dressing by my Tapu Bulu, and then -1 is not going to do much. And most likely I'd see Statland or maybe the Alakazam coming out, so I guess I could Feint Horn Leech that slot. If it's Statland, I'm going to switch into my I'm probably just going to switch into my Arcanine, to be honest, but let's see what my opponent goes for. Alakazam is going to come out on the field. Ooh, Alakazam is a very big threat. I wonder if it's Z-move, because we don't see a Z-move, but Life Orb Psychic's still going to do a lot. I'm actually going to Feint Horn Leech to Alakazam if it's Focus Sash, because I think getting rid of Alakazam is very huge for my team indeed. I don't need Tapu Bulu for much in the game, so I'm just going to Feint to break a potential Focus Sash and get a Horn Leech off. That Feint did 40%, that's impressive. Psychic going to go off into Tapu Bulu slot, so we should survive that. Yes, we do. I don't know if that was Life Orb or Focus Sash damage, but we'll take that. Gonna get this Horn Leech off, so we're gonna get some recovery, and I doubt Gigalith can knock out Tapu Bulu without a move like Heavy Slam, for instance. So let's see. It is gonna be that Heavy Slam. If we trade Tapu Bulu, that's fine, because Tapu Bulu is not exactly necessary in this game anymore. As Tapu Bulu does go down, remember, the Gigalith cannot switch out now, so it's gonna be a -1 for the rest of the game, unless it carries something like Curse, or has a weakness policy that I trigger, but it's very unlikely I get to trigger it. So we're in a pretty okay position, as that poison damage is adding up quite a bit. Hariyama should have one more turn left. Yep. It will Feint, however, to the next recoil damage. So I'm going to bring in my Porygon2 here. I guess I could bring out Arcanine, but I don't think it's necessary. A Stoutland is going to be my opponent's last Pokemon, as Porygon2 is going to come out. I should probably recover here. I think recovering is the best play with Porygon2. Although my opponent has to get rid of the Hariyama, I don't think a Giga Impact Z-move would knock out my Porygon2 slot. So you know what? I'm actually going to go for the recover here. And actually, do I need to recover? Okay, because Stoutland doesn't have a spread move, maybe my opponent actually just protects and stalls out the last turn of damage it needs on the Hariyama. And I don't want like a crit onto my Porygon2, so what I'm going to do is actually close combat the Stoutland and switch on to Arcanine here. Because you have to target down Porygon2 with the Z move, or you have to knock out Hariyama. Either way, I get the Intimidate off, so I get to bring in my Porygon2 safely. I also get this Intimidate off, which drops both my opponent's Pokemon down to -1. -2 on the Gigalith. Retaliate coming out from the Stoutland into the Arcanine. Oh, okay, that's a crit. Okay. That was cool, though. That was cool. Retaliate, if you don't know, was a move introduced in Black and White, which doubles the power if one of your Pokemon on your team fainted previously on this last turn. So that's actually a very, very cool thing to see. I don't think it would have knocked out Arcanine during the Intimidate, but it's a 140 base power move, and that's actually pretty cool. Well, 140 when doubled, so that was still pretty cool, not gonna lie. I think I know what's going on the thumbnail, but yeah, but the Gigalith shouldn't be able to win. It's at -2, even a crit Stone Edge. The only thing that can win my opponent the game is a critical hit Z move now, and I think the Stoutland would carry the Z move. Well, I guess Gigalith could carry the Z move as well. Gonna get the special attack boost. There should be only one turn of Sandstorm left. Yes. So I'll just recover here because I don't want to risk the critical hit from the potential Rockium Z Continental Crush. So go for the recovery here. It also stalls out the Sandstorm. We're going to see a Heavy Slam from my opponent, which I don't think is to play at all. You go for your crit rock move. And if you don't have Stone Edge, I guess that's the game because, yeah. And my opponent can't really curse up here because you're still going to be a -1. You would need to be boosted and go for the crit chance in order to most likely win this game. But now we can just click Ice Beam and that should seal it up. Because Porygon2 should be out of range of any attack. Ice Beam going to fire off into this Gigalith slot, which should pick up the knockout, I think. Yes, it will. As Gigalith will go down. And we will take the first game. So, pretty nice, pretty nice. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't see like the Golisopod, because that would have been an interesting Pokemon to face. But yeah, Retaliate was pretty cool to see. I wonder if my opponent also had Giga Impact, or maybe it was like After You, maybe it had Crunch. There are so many options you can run on Statland. And we have definitely seen some interesting ones on the channel. If you hadn't missed that, Sub-Zero, well, Icium Z Statland earlier. I forgot what the Z move is called because I've only seen it like twice. Sub-Zero Slammer, I think? I don't remember. I can't remember the Z move name. But yeah, we're actually almost to 1800. So let's see if we can actually get to 1800 because that would be pretty sweet if we could get to 1800 in today's episode. But if not, no worries. We can always try again. But yeah, so we have a Japanese rated player, 1704 rating, with the team of Raichu, Tapu Koko, Pelipper, Garchomp, Kartana, and Araquanid. Very offensive team. And I don't like my matchup against Tapu Koko Raichu with this team. Well, actually, I guess we have Tapu Bulu. It's still kind of annoying though because my opponent does have Rain, and I do think I think you bring Kartana's annoying too. I think you bring the 4 of Tapu Koko, Raichu, and then it's like toss up between Pelipper, Kartana, and Araquanid. I don't think Garchomp's coming, even though it seems weird because Garchomp does do pretty well against my team. I don't think it comes in the matchup. I'm actually gonna lead Porygon2 Tapu Bulu. I think it's very solid against my opponent's team overall. And Hariyama doesn't do much. It only offers fake out pressure and pretty much gets outcoded by everything on my opponent's team. Arcanine to help with the Kartana. And Muk is pretty useful in this matchup. The only problem is I am kind of worried about my Garchomp game plan, but I think we're going to be good. Nihilego can hit the Araquanid, the Pelipper, as well as the Tapu Koko for good damage. But struggles against Kartana and the Raichu. And the Garchomp. Muk might be the best thing because maybe I can knock off the Araquanid's item if it isn't the Z move. I think it's like something like Iron Ball or Mystic Water on the Araquanid because it looks like it's my opponent's Trick Room counter. Unless my opponent just relies on like Taunt on Tapu Koko, or maybe like it's very offensive team with Electro Ball, which is kind of what I'm assuming. So my opponent leads Kartana Pelipper. This is actually the worst potential lead for me right here, as I do lead my Porygon Tapu Bulu. And okay, why is the game lagging? Maybe it was just lagging for like a quick second there, which was kind of weird to me. But get the Grassy Search up, which is going to power up the Kartana, which is kind of bad for me. But we do get the download boost, which will be our special attack. Nice. I can go for a Ice Beam, and I think I'm going to go. Okay, only one of 2 Pokemon usually carry the Ice move. It's the Focus Sash. Pelipper is most likely the one carrying it on this team. I'm going to Ice Beam the Pelipper slot. And I'm going to go hard Arcanine because I don't think my opponent should probably just Scald the Tapu Bulu slot and anticipate the Arcanine to switch out. But my opponent could just set up maybe a switch onto Araquanid because I could easily get Trick Room up against my opponent's team. So I feel like Araquanid might decide to come in this turn, or maybe it's going to come in the next turn. We're going to see the Bloom Doom, I think, coming out from my opponent. Oh, it's the All-Out Pummeling, actually. Which I don't mind at all because now it's Intimidate, so it's at -1. So it shouldn't be doing too much. Should be doing 60% to the Porygon2. And I'm guessing it's going to be a Hurricane into the Tapu Bulu slot. So I'm alright with this. We're going to see the All-Out Pummeling come out. And this is going to do a good amount of damage. Yeah, about the amount I would assume. Hopefully it's not Scald into... It's Brine, actually. Oh, into the Porygon. That's not good. That's not good. And everything's slow on my team. I guess I go on to Tapu Bulu. Oh, that was a brilliant play by my opponent, and I feel like that just destroyed me right there. I was not expecting the brine from Pelipper because we didn't see Hydrovort. We don't see a Golduck, so I thought it would be Scald. Oh, that was such a good move because it covered the Arcanine switch in no matter which slide decides to target. Wow. I guess I Horn Leech the Pelipper here and protect. I think my opponent doubles up into Tapu Bulu this slot, but I can't risk losing Arcanine here to Sacred Sword plus Brine. So let's see what my opponent goes for. It's going to be Swords Dance actually, which I don't mind because these variants usually only carry like Sacred Sword and Leaf Blade then. And we're going to see the Brine into Arcanine. Alright. Gonna get the Horn Leech off. This should bring Pelipper down to a Focus Sash, I would assume. It doesn't even bring it down to a Sash. Is that bulky? Well, I'm going to sub with Tapu Bulu here, and I think I'm going to go for Extreme Speed into the Pelipper slot, because I can't let Arcanine go down as fast. So I am going to try to get rid of Pelipper here, and let's see what this Kartana's going to do. It's probably going to just Sacred Sword, or maybe Swords Dance again, I could assume. It is going to Swords Dance again. So, +3 Sacred Sword, I don't know if we can live that. I don't know if we can live that, man, but we're going to get this substitute up, so we have something going for our team. We have something going for our team. But this is still going to be a hard battle. Depends on what my opponent has in the back. I think Koko Raichu. Jeez, that was brilliant. I did not expect Brine on this team, but it does work on Hyper Offense because you usually get over 50% of damage with one Mon, and Brine can finish off Pokemon such as Porygon2. Araquanid's actually going to come out, which I do not mind because I do have... Okay, can I live a +3 Sacred Sword? I kind of doubt it. I think I have to risk it though. I'm going to go for the Wood Hammer. I'm going to go for the Bloom Doom into the Araquanid, and I have to hope that I can live the Sacred Sword. I don't think I have another play, because if I switch into Muk... Okay, he goes for Protect, which is fine because Bloom Doom puts in range of the Wood Hammer anyway. As we do see the Sacred Sword, I need Arcanine to live. Oh, that's a knockout. Like, even if I sacked Muk there, like, he gets the Beast Boost, so it negates my Intimidate. That's game, I think? Jeez, that Kartana literally destroyed my team. Maybe... I don't know how fast my Arcanine is. I think I speed... No. Like, okay, I did not... okay, maybe I should have Flare Blitz instead of Extreme Speed to Pelipper and trade it for a 2v2 situation. Here's the Bloom Doom, which does do a good amount, but this Kartana is at +4 attack. It's going to be able to knock out all my Pokemon. I don't have a switch-in. And, yeah. There we go. Muk. And Knockoff is not going to do anything. I can't do damage to this team. I guess I Horn Leech the Araquanid and I protect the Muk stall out a turn. Oh no, I still can't win because Tapu Bulu can't touch, neither of my Pokemon can touch the Kartana, and that's kind of sucks. Like, this team doesn't exactly have, like, if you're playing defensively and your opponent sets up, this team can struggle. Horn Leech does pick up the knock on the Araquanid. So, at least we're not getting destroyed, but let's see what my opponent's last Pokemon is. Well, Kartana seals it up for my opponent anyway. Unless I live a Sacred Sword somehow. Rain stops between Grassy terrain, disappears from the battlefield. So, I guess Leaf Blade isn't powered up, but my Tapu Bulu isn't powered up anymore. So, it kind of hurts me more. Garchomp is going to come out. Yeah. Like, once I lost Porygon2, I think I lost the game anyway, because I don't have a way to deal with Garchomp after Porygon2 goes down. Well, I guess I did with Bloom Doom. Maybe I hope for a choke. I'm going to double up into Kartana slot. Well, Protect here, Knockoff. I wonder what kind of Garchomp this is. Maybe it's Scarf. But he should Poison Jab if he's Scarf. He's Sacred Swords, he's not Scarf. Sacred Sword is going to knock out Muk, yep. As, let's see, what does the Garchomp go for? Poison Jab? Swords Dance. This is a very, very offensive team. And yeah, that's gonna be game. I couldn't do much against this team. I guess I really should have went for the flip. Well, like, okay, no matter what, I still think I lost to Garchomp in the end game. Because okay. Let's say, I think my Arcanine is faster by Modest Pelipper by 1 point, so I guess it depends on the spread on my opponent's side. If he's Timid Pelipper, like I was screwed anyway. 5 Fang Burn just for the memes. Wood Hammer is going to knock me out anyway. But yeah. Oh, that's actually pretty bulky Garchomp. But, okay, so let's say I went for the Flare Blitz instead of the Extreme Speed onto Pelipper that one turn. I think Flare Blitz will knock out Kartana even though it's in the rain, even though it's high base physical defense. But, and then I would have been Horn Leeching I would have been Horn Leeching knocking out the Pelipper. But, if Pelipper went for Hurricane there, I would have lost the game because Tapu Bulu weakened means I absolutely have no answer to Garchomp. So I thought, and I didn't expect Garchomp in the back, even though it does really well against my team. I was kind of expecting Koko Raichu, but my opponent didn't even bring Koko Raichu, which was, you know, I thought I would struggle against it, but I guess Tapu Bulu kind of scared that away enough, along with the fake out pressure from Hariyama and the Muk. That's a hard team. That's a hard team because Electro Ball does so much damage to every single member of my team. Like Electro Ball and Electric Terrain just destroyed. The Pelipper kind of makes it so much harder, like for my Arcanine to shine, because Arcanine could have shined if it wasn't for the Pelipper. I think I could have won though. I think I need to study that matchup more, but we're going to try for another win. We're going to try for one more win in today's episode. The quality thing is going to make me probably regret this. Just because, like, I'm thinking about editing this video now. And I'm like, it's going to be lower quality than usual. And I kind of don't like that. But, let's see. Hopefully the video turns out good enough that I am able to upload. Because I don't always upload every single video. There are reasons for that. Sometimes, like, the quality is so bad, audio problems, like, really bad issues with my computer sometimes causes the video to turn out bad, so I won't upload that because I want quality over quantity, which is why sometimes I tend to skip on certain days. Like when I'm sick, I'm not going to record. I'm not going to record while I'm having, like a bad throat problem, where my voice is going to be like so terrible that it's not even worth listening to, or on a day that I feel like I'm not even playing that well, because what's the point of watching a player not play well if that's what you're here for? Well, I guess I don't play that well, but you know, it's at least up to standards. It's up to standards, I think. So yeah, we have that. I swear it's lagging. Like, I'm looking between my 3DS screen and my computer, and I swear it's lagging. But I guess I should make some announcements. One, on Twitch, if you haven't followed me already, you should be, because I will be streaming more often. And I streamed yesterday, which was Friday. Friday I also had a late upload for the Baek Battles, just because I was streaming that day. Sunday, which is tomorrow or today maybe, if you're watching this late, I will be streaming, so definitely tune in for that. I'll probably be doing either viewer battles, or maybe it's battle spot doubles along with VGC battle spot as well. I haven't decided exactly what I want to do tomorrow, but I will be streaming. I'm going to be trying to stream semi-frequently, maybe once every 2 or 3 days. That's what I'm going to try to aim for, because, you know, it's something I actually really want to do. I actually want to commit. I just have been having some, like, issues with timing. I kind of wish we could find a battle though, because I don't want to stall this out, because I would love to find a battle. I don't know why. Battle spot's kind of been dead for the past few days, but I think it's because Japan Cup is currently going on. Like, Japan Cup is currently going on, and like the Japanese are trying to qualify for their World Championship and Nationals invites. So, okay, we found someone from Italy, 1648 rating. Let's see what we've got. We got a Tommy's team with Pelipper, Tapu Koko, Golduck, Porygon2 Buzzwole and Muk. Now people, listen to me when I'm about to say. Wolfe's team does not have good answers to Golduck, Pelipper, Buzzwole. In my opinion, it's almost an auto loss because you can't touch Buzzwole really. Because your main way of touching Buzzwole is Arcanine, and Arcanine does not do well against the Rain mode. So that's going to be pretty hard. I talked about this matchup with Tommy because I did use Tommy's team earlier, if you don't know, and I asked him about his match with Wolfe and how both players matched up with the game. So he told me that Wolfe tried Tapu Bulu Hariyama leads, so I'm going to be trying that. I'd probably have to bring Arcanine in the matchup. And I think Muk. I can't bring Tapu Koko, and that's kind of... I can't bring Muk, Porygon2, which kind of frustrates me, because Porygon2 could be really good in a late game, but I need Muk because I need to imprison my opponent's team. Because this team struggles against Muk, it struggles against Buzzwole, it struggles against Rain. All four things are there on the field, so we're probably going to see... I would imagine we're going to see the Pelipper, Golduck, along with Muk, Buzzwole. We could see maybe Porygon2 being brought over one of them. I'm pretty sure Buzzwole in the Rain mode is 100% going to be brought. So I think we're going to go 1-2 in today's episode. I don't like the matchup at all. Let's see. I'm going to have to play 100% perfect here. We're going to see Pelipper and Muk actually, which is still kind of bad. So I'm going to leave Tapu Bulu combined with Hariyama. Drizzle's going to activate. I don't need Hariyama healthy. I kind of do need Tapu Bulu kind of healthy. So I think I want to fake out the Muk. But Pelipper could just go for... It could be a double protect. I could definitely see a double protect. These are mind games turn on. Because I don't know. My opponent could just double protect. But I could sub up, so my opponent might not do that and just go for Hurricane. I think I'm going to sub here with Tapu Bulu, and I think I'm going to go for Fake Out into Pelipper, because I think Muk would protect, because it's the most obvious Hurricane Fake Out target in my opinion. Or I could just Fake Out the Muk, because Pelipper does wrestling with Hurricane on both, so maybe... Okay, we're not going to see Protect from either Mon, so this is already looking bad. Hurricane going to come out and target down the Tapu Bulu. Oh my lord, that did too much damage. And I went for sub. Yeah, I think that's game. I think that is game. Oh, come on. I hate this matchup so much. Alright, I'm going for Bloom Doom onto the Pelipper slot, and I am going for a Poison Jab into the Pelipper slot. Maybe I can still win. That's kind of annoying though. I don't exactly like this matchup at all, because you have to predict 100% right, and there are so many 50-50s, whether my opponent protects, if they don't protect. I should have just went for the Fake Out and Wood Hammer, I guess. Well, Horn Leech, because I think Horn Leech would have put in Feint burn range. So I am going to go for Poison Jab plus the Bloom Doom, because it might put Pelipper in range of Feint, as we're going to see the Hariyama actually get targeted, which, you know, we are going to survive because of my incredible investments here. We're going to get a Bloom Doom off, which is going to pick up the knockout onto my opponent. Hopefully, well, this is Curse Muk, so it doesn't have Imprison. So, going to get the full force Bloom Doom off. This is going to be able to knock out the Pelipper, and I think the best case scenario here is if my opponent actually goes for the best case scenario is if my opponent goes for Curse here, tries to set up on me. No, it's just going to be Poison Jab. It's going to target down my Hariyama. Okay, so Hariyama goes down, which I don't mind. This Tapu Bulu is going to heal a little bit of health. The Muk is going to heal the Fake Out damage. I guess I should have fainted, but if my opponent targeted down Tapu Bulu with that, with a Brine or Hurricane, that would have been troublesome. I'm going to get out my Arcanine here because, yes, I know Arcanine's kind of a bit of an interesting play here, but what I'm going to try to do is get my Muk in a decent position. and imprison my opponent, because if my opponent can't protect or attack with this Muk, that's huge. So I'm gonna go out into Muk and just protect here. I'm hoping what assumes to be Pelipper going for an attack into Arcanine and the Muk going for a Poison Jab in the Tapu Bulu slot. Knockoff shouldn't be able to knock out Tapu Bulu at that range. So maybe I should have Horn Leeched. Yeah, I should have Horn Leeched instead of using my Z move actually, because the recovery could have been nice. I guess it, yeah. Okay, I should have thought about that more, but we're going to protect Arcanine here against the Brine coming out into the Arcanine slot. Don't be a knockoff, please. It's going to be a Poison Jab, which is what I assume. That's best case scenario right here. Perfect. I'm not going to heal with Grassy Terrain. We're always stalling out this rain too, which is very nice for my team. And now I can go for the Imprison with Muk and Extreme Speed into Pelipper. The only thing I'm worried about is the end game. If my opponent decides to save Pelipper to reset the rain, that's very problematic, but I'm hoping Pelipper decides to stay in. It does stay in, which is like best case scenario here, because a double protect will allow me to stall out the rain. The Muk can't do anything. This is like the best case scenario here. Gonna get the Imprison off so my opponent can no longer target, as we do see the knockoff probably into either one of my Pokemon to knock out the berry, but perfect scenario right here. My opponent can no longer reset rain. Double protect is very safe for me. Golduck should be coming out now. It's actually Buzzwole, which that's probably the best for me actually, because Buzzwole doesn't really threaten me that much here. I'm gonna go for my knockoff into the Muk slot. Actually, maybe I should just Poison Jab. Yeah, I'm gonna Poison Jab Muk. Like, Muk doesn't threaten me at all. And I think I'm gonna Helping Hand. No, I need to Flare Blitz because the Buzzwole's a threat. I'm gonna Flare Blitz the Buzzwole because it's a threat. Muk isn't a threat. I'm gonna Flare Blitz that Buzzwole, put it on a timer. Poison Jab plus Extreme Speed might be able to knock out the Muk in the future turn, which is why I'm going for this. Let's see. I want the Flare Blitz off into Buzzwole because 2 Flare Blitzes will be able to knock out Buzzwole. Superpower will not be able to knock out either one of my Pokemon. Yeah, I think this is the best play. And I think that Golduck is going to be switching. Oh, no Golduck. So is he going to stay in and curse? I don't agree with that play. Okay, that Flare Blitz did a bit less than I expected. It's in the rain, but still. Hammer Arm coming out into the Arcanine slot. Okay. That does a lot. But it lowers the speed, which actually allows my Muk to probably outspeed it the following turn. I'm going to get the Poison Jab off into the Muk. Is it going to curse up? Yeah, it's going to curse up, which I kind of don't agree with. Huh? Because, yes, Muk is getting boosted up, but it can't use Poison Jab, Knockoff, or Protect. Unless this has, Gunk Shot. But you could have doubled up the Arcanine there. So, Flare Blitz plus Poison Jab will be able to knock out Buzzwole. I'm kind of worried about how much recoil I'll take with the Arcanine, but I should have just barely enough to pop my berry, I think. Yeah, I should have just enough to pop my berry, I think. I'm going to double up the Buzzwole, no matter what. And if Golduck decides to switch in this turn, I guess, but it no longer has the rain option, so Hydro Vortex is not going to be able to knock out either one of my Pokemon. Muk still has a berry, which is very important, because Muk is probably going to be the MVP of this game. The Pokemon that's going to be able to knock out my opponent's team. So let's see. This Imprison is really going off like dividends, because now my opponent can't protect. My opponent can't do anything with this Muk, which is great. Can't protect the Golduck in the back, so I always get a guaranteed attack off. We're in a very solid position here. This Flare Blitz is going to come off. Pretty sure we'll be able to survive the recoil and get our berry off, as Buzzwole actually faints to the Flare Blitz. We should survive, right? Just by barely any. Yes, we do survive. And we are able to eat our Figy Berry. Excellent. Well, I have pop-up. Yep. Poison Jab into the Muk, just in case Golduck ever decides to switch in. Unless my opponent didn't bring Golduck, but that would really confuse me on what my opponent's last Pokemon could be. That means it's either Porygon2 or Tapu Koko, and both Pokemon are not Pokemon you want to bring out right now. Let's see. It might be Tapu. No, wait. Okay, it's Porygon2. Okay. So my opponent bring Golduck, and I feel like that kind of just drew my opponent because I don't think Porygon2 helped it much. I guess maybe my opponent was scared of me saying Trick Room, but even I had Trick Room up, like Buzzwole can dominate me through Trick Room if I set it up. So Porygon2 is going to come out. I'm just going to go for the knockoff here into the Porygon2, and I think I'm going to Helping Hand because I don't want to take any more recoil damage that's unnecessary right now. So get this Helping Hand off. Porygon2 can't knock me out with any attack, no matter what. Here comes the knockoff. This is going to do a massive amount. Nice, 40%. Knocks out the Eviolite. It looks like my opponent's going to set Trick Room, but Imprison never goes away until I switch out. So no matter what, I don't care how many curses you set up. That's the only move you can use. So you can keep cursing all you want. These ears aren't listening. So Trick Room going to go up, but I mean, I have a Poison Jab, and I have a Helping Hand. I don't need to go for Extreme Speed here. I'm just gonna Helping Hand my Muck and knock out this Porygon2. I Helping Hand Poison Jab, unless Porygon2 goes for Recover here. Should put into Extreme Speed range the following turn. So let's see how this goes. I never had to target down Muck because Muck can only use Curse. Maybe my opponent doesn't know how Imprison works. So let's see. Goes for a return. Okay. Into the Arcanine slot. Doesn't KO. Poison Jab will do a lot of damage. Yeah, puts in Extreme Speed range. Without the Eviolite, that should be out of Extreme Speed range. I think I want to double up just in case, since Porygon2 doesn't usually carry Protect, and it's the only thing that can actually hit my team. But I'm going to go for the knockoff plus Extreme Speed. We should have this game in the bag because my opponent cannot actually attack. Like, my opponent can actually physically attack. Like, once it uses up the curses, it's not going to do anything. It's going to have to struggle. Extreme Speed does knock out the Porygon2 at that range, and we get to knock off the Figy Berry as my opponent keeps cursing up. But once again, I don't mind because my opponent should probably just forfeit next turn. My opponent should just forfeit next turn because Muck isn't going to be able to do anything. We get rid of its Figy Berry, and even though we're doing very pitiful damage to my opponent can never attack. Like, my opponent can't attack back, so we are good. And yeah, I'll just keep going for Poison Jab and Extreme Speed because Tapu Bulu is going to make this game even longer with grassy terrain. So either way, just wait out till my opponent decides to forfeit, unless my opponent really wants to decide to play this long game that my opponent can never win. And we do have this game in the bag, 100%. There's no way, unless this Muck has gunk shot this entire time. But yeah, we're gonna see the match be forfeited. We will take the game, and yeah, remember when I said that was an impossible matchup? I think you need Golduck to make it the impossible matchup because I feel like I do understand, but like Golduck just offers so much offensive pressure. I feel like Golduck was worth bringing over Porygon2 because Muck combined with Buzzwole in the back can help against the Trick Room mode if I do get it up eventually, and Golduck just offering so much pressure. I don't have a really good way to knock it out other than the Bulu. I guess what my opponent was afraid of was me getting Muck in Imprison under Trick Room and bringing my top of Bulu, but yeah, I still think like if you just offered so much offensive pressure earlier with the Pelipper Golduck, I think you would have been fine because Hydro Vortex with Brine would have been doing so much damage no matter what. I didn't have a switch in. So yeah, hope that everyone enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please leave a like down below. It really shows your support. Feel free to leave a comment. Tell me anything you want. Tell me if you liked 4th Gen because I loved 4th Gen. And if you played Diamond and Pearl, if it was your first game, you can check out the placement of this team down below with the previous episodes of VGC 17 Baek Battles. If you haven't missed any, you can check out the rest of my social medias, my Twitter if you want to go give it a follow, my Twitch channel if you want to go give it a follow, the Patreon if you want to support the channel, and you can also follow my blog. Maybe I'll update that one day, but we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, yeah, see you around in another video.